All right, welcome to another episode of the Bulldog Bark. I'm yours truly, the Guru. With me, as always, got my partner in crime, BFC Butler's Fighting Crew, and with us today, we got another very special guest in the building. He led the Dogs to a back-to-back national championship appearances. You guys might remember that in 2010 and 2011. Shawn Vanzant, how you doing, man?
Good, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we dive into the good old days, update Butler Nation on kind of what you've been up to since you graduated from Butler.
Oh man. Uh Had the opportunity to play overseas for about 6, 7 years since I graduated. Then after that, I coached Division II at Lincoln Memorial University. I had 2 years there, or a year and a half. And so for the last 8 years, I've been coaching high school basketball and I love it.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously we've all seen you doing that. Talk to us a little bit about that. You know, obviously you're a player for your whole life. What's it been like being a head coach?
Oh, you're on the other side of the fence. Beginning it was definitely a struggle for me because I was still in player mode. I still want to go out there and
Yeah,
play. As a coach, you gotta you gotta tune that back a little bit. I coached 4 years at a Bloomingdale High School. I love that. It gave me a great opportunity. But I'm actually back at my alma mater where I graduated from. So it's been a blessing. My high school coach coached there since '96. He retired and shot me a phone call and said, "Hey, I'm retiring. If you want to come back, I'd love to have you." So that was definitely a blessing, and I've been there for 4 years.
that's awesome, man. And then kind of let's go back a little bit. So obviously you played for Butler, like I mentioned before. You know, we had the back-to-back national championships, but you also
Yes, sir.
played. I think that was your junior and senior year, right?
Yep.
Yep. And so, talks about your recruitment process coming to Butler. Brad Stevens, obviously, kind of walk us through what event, what got you to Butler.
Whoa. Actually, my um, AAU coach played at Butler. He actually played for Licklider's dad, believe it or not. So he went to North Central. He's from Indianapolis. He played at USF, and he stayed in Florida in Tampa. Um, so he taught me a lot about the game, the fundamentals, and just how to play the game the correct way. So during the off season, I actually had the opportunity to go back and play at Butler for summer league team camp for high school. So that's how the connection really started with Butler. Playing there in the summer, um, my brother-in-law actually, Terry Johnson, had a part of recruiting me actually. But my first introduction was actually with Brad. Brad was an assistant at that point.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yep, because Luke Lauder hasn't went to Iowa yet.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. So, I actually reason I kind of got my offer was because I got to kind of thank Jeff Teague actually, because me and him was kind of going at it in the West Gym at Butler, and Jordan was still at Butler at that time. Laval was
Yeah.
at that Butler still at the time as an assistant, and he saw me. He's like, "Hey, you need to recruit this guy." So that's kind of how the connection started, actually.
That's why I forgot. Yeah. That's right. Because look, yeah. Wow. I did not expect that answer. Whatever. I did not expect that answer at all.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff T was
Yeah.
at Pike, and and,
That's
and
right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Shout out Jeff T.
yeah,
So obviously though Brad Stevens did end up obviously taking over as head coach. Talk to us
yep.
what it was like playing for honestly in many people's eyes a legendary coach.
Yeah, oh, 100% legendary, just all the way across the board. But as you were a kid, like Brad had a lot of sayings, and it really didn't hit home until after I graduated and I actually started coaching myself. And I'm like, yeah, this whatever this man said was like 100% right. You know what I mean? So I pretty much took everything I learned from Brad and tweaked it for a high school level. I mean, if it's broke, don't, you know what I'm saying, it don't need to be fixed.
Yeah.
So all the Butler morals and we over me, everything that Brad used to tell us when I first got there. Brad actually told me when he recruited me, he's like, if you ain't gonna play defense, you ain't gonna play here, period.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So I tell my guys that all the time when I coach them. Obviously, he's a great excellent O's coach. That goes without saying. But I think why I feel people fail to realize I think he's a genius as getting so many 15 different personalities to really believe in putting the team above yourself. And the way he did that, I think he's one of the best coaches, bar none.
Yeah, no, absolutely. BFC, what you got, man?
Yeah, kind of going into that, it's really kind of amazing how many coaches from high school, college, and into like the professional levels come out of Butler. What part of kind of the Butler way or the Butler culture you think, kind of promotes that of guys getting into coaching after their playing careers end?
That's a great question. And I think I can speak from when I was there that Brad and the whole coaching staff did an excellent job recruiting. And what I mean by that is you gotta, we didn't get, we obviously, I was probably a negative star coming to high school, but but they did a great job of recruiting guys that didn't care about themselves. You know what I mean? I know there's different time era than what we are in now, but you can go down the line from what guys I played with like Ron Norred, Chase DeGaulle, Zach Hahn, just down the line of guys that didn't care about how many shots they got. And then you can go for it as Gordon Hayward. Like sometimes we had to force Gordon to shoot the basketball because he cared about winning more than his personal stats. So when you get around and build selfless guys, it was easy to play basketball and win basketball games because people didn't really care about how many shots they got. They really didn't care. All they cared about was winning. So when you get 15 guys who all care about is winning, it's very hard to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually funny that you brought up Jeff Teague because I was listening to Sheldon Mack on his podcast, and he was talking about how you guys were taking the bus back to campus during the first national championship run before practice for the Final Four. Kind of talk about the difference between being at a Final Four in your hometown here, where Butler is, and then obviously going off into Houston and being kind of a more traditional way of being at the Final Four.
Yeah, yeah. We still had to go to class, believe it or not. Um, Brad didn't care that we're down the street. We still went to class, and it was. I wouldn't want to say a distraction. It was more of I think Brad was trying to keep it the normalcy as much as he possibly could. And I honestly think that kind of helped, honestly. Um, Again, Lucas Fieldhouse is what 10-minute drive from Butler. We started to go to class, and this is the support we had in the community was like something I'll never forget. Just hey, good luck, and just what I mean, putting stuff in by your dorm room. This the community and the student population supporting us is something I'll never forget. It was definitely a lot different than the second one for sure.
I'm going to interject real fast because I'll never forget this because my freshman year was the first national championship run. And I remember I walked in the bookstore and dude, it was packed. Like
Mhm.
it was like not like it wasn't just like oh there's like more people than usual. Like you had like lines going into like after like it was like crazy. Like and I was
Mhm.
like man this is like that. I was like yeah no we made it we're here right. But no
Yeah,
BFC sorry yeah
for sure. Yeah, man, it's. People ask me what I remember most about playing in two national championships, just the support, just
yeah
the faculty, the teachers, the students, just everybody in the community was probably what I remember the most.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And then kind of going into your, playing days after school. I know you had the chance to play over in Europe and then also in the Canadian League.
Mhm.
Where was your favorite place to play?
Oh man, Finland was beautiful, man. Like the people, the community. But overall, I would say Finland, Ireland, and probably Canada are probably one of my three favorite places for sure.
Awesome. And then kind of going off that too, in one of our last interviews, we were talking about kind of the adjustments going overseas and then being over there right after school. Did you have any veterans that kind of took you under their wing and got you adjusted to life over there?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. My first year in Finland, it was different. You know what I mean? Like the European style of playing basketball is completely different than obviously in America. Um, and being dark 23 hours out of the day, it took me time to get used to when you're in Finland. But I definitely had a vet who'd been playing basketball overseas for 10 years. He took me underneath this wing and kind of showed me. the style of play and how to adjust style of play because my first preseason game I had like 6 turnovers because you can't rip and go right away because it's a travel. You gotta put the ball down first. So just little things like that and tricks of the trade that I learned this practicing with him and practicing individual workouts. Uh, but yeah, I mean I had a blast over the community. It was a very small community, but they embraced me and it was nice.
So going back to your playing days at Butler, tell us what was maybe your favorite. Let's go with like during a game. Like what was like your favorite memory? A game, or a specific moment? It can be a
Uh,
couple too.
Sorry, what'd you say?
You could have a few of them too if it's hard to pick one. I mean I get that.
Oh, honestly. I mean, I got a lot of them, honestly, but one of my favorite moments was probably how I stayed at home my freshman year when
Yeah,
I didn't even see the floor, but just the environment. I mean, you got to remember when I came in, I had two All-Americans in front of me, preseason All-Americans. I had AJ Graves and Mike Green in front of me, so I knew I wasn't seeing the floor, but those guys taught me like in our freshman class in general what it takes to win. Like just not on the basketball court, the weight room, how you approach the game, and just everything. They really laid the foundation of what Butler basketball was. So I think one of my favorite moments would probably be the Ohio State game. Just watching Matt Howard as a freshman literally kind of like dominate the game, honestly,
yeah,
as a freshman, and just watching AJ and Mike Green and show us the ropes.
yeah. No, absolutely. And maybe what's like one of your I'm gonna force you into the talking about the tournament because I like that answer. That was nice, but I mean like obviously I expected going to the national championship. But no, I mean speaking of like obviously you had the back-to-back national championship runs. Man, talk to us about that. Like I know you talk about the support from the community and everything like that, but maybe what were some moments from there that you'll like never forget? I'm sure you won't forget any of it, but like yeah, moments you won't forget or just experiences you had during that you could stories you could share with us during those
Yeah,
times.
yeah, people would remember like the run and the tournament, but they don't really I wouldn't say you guys, but just as a majority of people don't understand like the behind the scenes of you gotta remember our senior year we struggled we lost
Yeah,
four in a row like people don't they don't see that part of the struggle and the summer workouts and the open gyms and all that. Honestly, but one of my favorite memories is like me and Matt Howard like are super close to this day. We talk all the time, but
yeah,
those open gyms were wars, and I think that played a big part of what we got to two national championships. Like the summer workouts and the work that you put in is probably one of my favorite memories. To be honest, I don't mean to sound cliche, but honestly, just the workouts, the individual workouts, the lifting, the conditioning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock. You got to remember we practice at 6:15 in the morning. And I mean, people don't do that nowadays, but those moments of being around your teammates and going through that struggle together is the reason why we're back to national championships. But to answer your question, I mean, the
I'll,
Duke
I'll,
game,
here, I'll bring up one. So walk me through the Old Dominion game because that's one that you go right. So that's the Matt Howard tipping game at the buzzer where you go to the right. I always wanted to ask you this. Like, so was that a shot or a pass?
honestly, I tried to step back
Yeah,
against the other Dominion game and shoot a jump shot, but my leg gave out. So I thought, like, okay, instead of just holding the basketball, throw it at the rim and somebody possibly can get it.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, honestly, like Old Dominion was. I thought personally, a lot of people agree with me, were one of the tough teams I thought I played in the tournament. Just all across the board. Just the physicality, the way they played together. Everybody brings up like, the UConn or the Florida game or whatever, but I always thought UConn was one of the best teams that we played for sure. Like I give them tons of respect.
yeah, no, yeah. They and then I'll pass BFC here in a second. But what maybe what's like I know you talked about like the camaraderie and all that stuff, but what was maybe just like one personal achievement that you accomplished during your time there. One that I always look at is I think your second highest scoring ever game ever was in the Horizon League. I want to recall this. I'm a sicko. I look at everyone's stats. I think it was like I want to say it was your senior or junior year, the Horizon League tournament. I think you had like 18 or 16 or something like that, or 20, one of those three numbers.
Mm.
But what's like a personal achievement that you had during your time frame there, where that you kind of look back on and you're like, I'm proud of that moment.
Man, not definitely not the scoring. Like, I just wanted to win, bro. Whether
Yeah,
I took one shot, 15 shots, whether I scored 2 points, I scored 20. I didn't care about that. I just wanted to win. One of my proudest moments, I probably phew, I would say when probably my junior year, I was starting and Brad put me. I was playing like shit, and Brad put me to the side in practice. I remember vividly, and he was like, "I'm gonna sit you. Like I'm gonna start Ron." And instead of me complaining or pouting or feeling bad for myself, I told Brad, I said, "Whatever." I said, "Coach, I just want to win. Whatever. Like if I come off the bench, whatever you need me to do." And right after that, we played Milwaukee, and I think I had like 20 or something like that. And then, but it wasn't about the scoring. It's just about me just bouncing back and like
yeah,
doing whatever my team need me to do to win. Like I didn't even care about scoring. Like everybody knows me. Like they tell you, like I just play defense. Now that was my pride and joy. Like I'm gonna sit down. I'm a guard. Whether I play 2 minutes or 30 minutes, I'm gonna sit down and guard. I promise you, my man ain't gonna score. And I think probably one of my proudest moments because I didn't complain or feel sad for myself.
yeah, and that was I feel like I say it all the time. You and Norred, like I never was like. I mean, yeah, you guys scored points. I'm not saying that at all, but like I personally loved watching you guys play because you were definitely like the give it all for the team guys. I never there's like the whole team was like that. I mean, you guys had Howard and everyone was like that, no doubt. But like guys that didn't get this maybe the same spotlight that some of the other guys got, right? And that's why I always appreciate about you guys during that. That's why when I say Butler Bulldog legend, you're a legend, man. That's what I'm
And I
talking about.
appreciate
Yeah,
that,
no,
man. Thank
absolutely,
you.
absolutely.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. BFC, what you got, man?
Yeah, so obviously, the transition year between the first like title appearance and the second was really interesting because especially at a school like Butler, when you if you lose a lottery pick, it's not like Duke or Kentucky where you've got other
Mm,
guys coming in like that.
mm, mm.
What were those kind of conversations like? And then how has that helped you, in your coaching career? Because obviously in high school, it's just like college where, you'll have a guy for 4 years on varsity, most likely two, and then
Yeah,
then they're off to college. So what does that kind of been like?
yeah, I got a quick funny story for you. For like after the first one, David Woods, who a sports writer for us, he asked me after that what my expectations of going to my senior year, and I told him back to the national championship, and he looked at me like I was crazy. He looked at me like I had like four hits, and I'm like, yeah, and I was like, that's the goal. Like, and he was like, you serious? Like, yeah, I'm dead serious. Like, I understand we lost a lot. We lost Willie Veasley, who's like a glue guy that did everything for us. Like, I understand that. And we lost Gordon, who was a lottery pick. I understand that. We lost Avery Jukes. I understand that. And we lost Nick Rogers, who's he didn't play that much, but you understand he brought energy to practice. He was a leader. So I understand that. But we got a lot of those guys in the locker room that we believe that and we're gonna do everything to get to that. So it's funny that nobody believed that we would be in the national championship after everything that we lost, but we knew we had the pieces like Matt Howard and Shelvin Mack to lead the way, and we had a lot of guys around them like Ron, who I honestly think is one of the best defenders I've ever seen in person, honestly. Um, so yeah, I mean, nobody believed that we'd get back to the national championship, but I guarantee everybody in the locker room did.
Yeah, and then kind of going into your now coaching days, um, what's kind of been one of your favorite memories so far, as a coach, especially back at your alma mater?
Oh man. So my first year of coaching high school basketball, I won 3 and 25. So you know what I mean? So that And when you go 3 and 25, you gotta take a look in the mirror like, hey, am I doing the right things? But I went 3 from 25 until I won 8 games the next year. Then I won 12 games. Then in my fourth year at that school, I won a sectional. Y'all guys call it sectional. We call it districts here. I won a sectional championship. But it was just like, hey, like everything I learned at Butler, now I'm implementing these guys, I'm imputing to these guys. It actually it works. But it just this it coaching is completely different, man. Like it's not the X's and O's. That's the easy part of the game. It's dealing with 15 or 12 different personalities that you got to get them to believe in you what you're telling is true. You know what I mean? Um, so that's probably one of my proudest moments of as coaching is bringing a team that won 3 games to winning a whole sectional and going to the playoffs. And it's with the same group of guys that you had since their freshman year. Um, so just getting guys to believe in what you're saying that it works and seeing them and you know what I mean. And honestly, this relationship that you built just throughout coaching in high school. It ain't about winning or losing all the time. About the relationships that you built and seeing them graduate from high school and graduate from college and starting a family and stuff. So that's the beauty part of coaching.
Awesome. Yeah, and actually, you talked about your relationship with Matt Howard. He sits really close to me in Hinkle, and obviously gets back as much as he can. Do you get a chance to come back? Obviously, I know with the high school season, get back into Hinkle at all?
Yeah, I think my last time that I was back in there when we got inducted to the Hall of Fame, and just seeing all the familiar faces and seeing some of the professors who taught you in college come back and support you, it was definitely nice. Yeah, speaking of Matt Howard, man, we talk all the time. I pick his brain just but with coaching, just different ideas and just checking in on each other and. It's nice that we still get to do that. I know we both busy with family and kids and wives and all that, but just to talk at least once a week and just catch up is nice.
Speaking of seeing old faces, do you think we can expect to see you in an All Good Dogs TBT uniform anytime soon?
Man, I'll play what I can, but man, when you stop playing, you start feeling all the injuries that you never felt before. You know what I mean? So I think I'm due for the old man's leagues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, I mean, I tweeted one time. I was like, "We got to make a team." Now, this is before they made the team, and obviously, I had you and Ron and all the guys on there. Hey, I love Shelvin. Shelvin's a legend. Shelvin, if you're ever listening to this, this is no disrespect. You're the man. I love you. You're awesome. But like, it was like Shelvin, and then Rodney Clark out there, who are obviously like in their mid 30s, and then they're playing boys who are playing overseas that are like 23 right now, and I was like.
They
Well,
move differently, man. They
yeah, I
move
was like, this
differently.
ain't fair. This ain't fair. That
Yeah,
second game we played, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, they move differently, man. They move differently.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, hey, man, I hope sometime we can see you back on the Hinkle court, man, because the court changed a lot since you were there. It's actually like a nice court now. I remember the first time I ever went on Hinkle, my visit at Butler, they let us, you could just walk in Hinkle. So I walked in Hinkle, and I remember like walking around, I'm like, there's a dead spot, there's a dead spot. I was like,
Yeah, yeah. Man, don't get me started on that. Like you can't watch film on a old TV on a laundry basket. Now they got a film room. They got like what happened to when I was there, man? Like I don't understand.
hey, you brought in the money though. You did it, man. You got them all day. You guys
Man,
brought it, man.
I'm like, geez, like they got nice jerseys. We had the same set of jerseys since like '96. Like I don't understand. Like
Oh, that was the other thing Shelvin was talking about with TFT. He was like, it's like those jerseys were so heavy. He was
yeah,
like,
they're heavy. They're baggy. Like they don't fit you. Nah, they got the best. They got the best of the best. But
yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie. When I post pictures of you guys from like back in the day, I always try to find the best ones because sometimes I look at them like, damn, that does not look good. I'm like, that
at
just
all, like it's like embarrassing. That's they're still online. Like delete that, please.
oh man, I wish I could help you out that, but you're gonna have to talk to Getty Images. No, but for real, man. No, BFC, you got anything else, man?
No, no, I think I'm all good.
Hey, Sean, unless you got anything else you want to add, man, we appreciate you hopping on here. It's always good catching up with the old dogs and hearing some good stuff. But hey, again, appreciate you. Super excited for what you got going on, coaching wise. And I always like to end it with little go dogs.
Go dogs. And again, I mean, I appreciate what you guys do. You keep me updated when I've been so busy. So thank you again for allowing me on your show.